that is very Orwellian, 1984. It has literally all of our information. They're using the company Palantir to gather all Americans' personal and private information from different branches of the government and compile them into one database so that Trump can punish his critics. Hi, I'm Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti Vod. Before we get started, let me just remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Also, this is real independent media. I have no funding. So if you do want to help the channel financially, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You could become a patron on Patreon. You could become a member on YouTube. You could buy some Valenti Videos merch. And you can use the 40% off discount code for the Ground News Vantage subscription down below. But without further ado, let's just dive into this. So we've got the New York Times article here. Trump taps Palantir to compile data on Americans. The Trump regime has expanded Palantir's work with the government, spreading the company's technology, which could easily merge data on Americans throughout agencies. Now, this right here is the CEO of Palantir. And if you don't know, Palantir is this data firm. They specialize in using AI supercomputers to gather data and compile it and put it into an easily digestible form. And this madman with the insane hair is the CEO. He's also said this.
Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and on occasion kill them.
And they have already labeled anybody and everybody on the left as an enemy of the state. We've heard Caroline No Lip Levitt say that millions of times, that these radical left judges, holy ever-loving fuck, I just got a $100 donation from Trevor H. Mason. Thank you, Holy W. Thank you, and Holy W. That's massive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But back to this. Let's read a little bit of this article here, okay? In March, President Trump signed an executive order calling for the federal government to share data across agencies, raising questions over whether he might compile a master list of personal information on Americans that could give him untold surveillance power. Mr. Trump has not publicly talked about the effort since, but behind the scenes, officials have quietly put technological building blocks into place to enable his plan. In particular, they have turned to one company, Palantir, the data analysis and technology firm. Now, real quick, I just want you guys to understand, we're going to cover this a little bit later in the video. This is so bad that even major right-wing propagandists are starting to jump ship on the Trump train because they can see the brick wall coming. And they know that if they stay on this train, well, they're going to have to go down with it. So one by one, you're going to start to see these right-wing political commentators distance themselves from Trump. They won't abandon MAGA because they can't. MAGA is literally all they have. They built their entire brand around being Trump sycophants, fat idiots like the older millennial. And I just want to show you this. We actually have a video from the fat alcoholic older millennial. He has jumped ship. Now watch this.
Your thing is a great measuring stick of whether or not you're... This Palantir thing is a great measuring stick of whether or not you're actually a conservative or you're just a Trump sycophant. Because if you're an actual conservative, you don't fucking support this. So let me just say this to any of my fellow conservative creators that are making content supporting this. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is pure government favors and overreach. This is not...
You voted for this, you fat fuck. You voted for this. Also, this is the same guy who goes live every night getting pissed drunk with some fucking fruity-ass drink and shaved ice.
Okay. Like, this is just a bullshit way to funnel money to Peter Thiel. But let's be real, I don't want involved in anything to do with our fucking guy.
Then why the fuck did you vote for Elon Musk and Donald Trump, knowing very well that they are good friends with Peter Thiel? This is what I'm trying to say, guys. These right-wing hacks are going to start to try and distance themselves and go, oh, I never wanted Peter Thiel involved. Then why the fuck did you vote for this? See, people like me, we all knew that Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Sundar Pichai, all of these technocrats, they are all from the same branch. They're cut from the same cloth. And only now you're starting to realize this?
Government and a massive overreach of the privacy of American citizens. This plan is absolute and total dog shit and should not be supported by anybody who calls themselves a conservative. This is the creation of a database of American citizens' personal information. This is the Patriot Act all over again. Let me just express this very fucking clearly. I do not in any way support this proposal.
Yes, but if I asked you if you support Donald Trump, you will say yes. Because there is no line that Donald Trump can cross that will make you abandon him. That doesn't exist.
Anyone who likes to call themselves a conservative and does support it, just admit that you'll support the sacrifice of your freedoms and your liberty because Trump did it. We have to be willing to call out bullshit on both sides. And this is epic levels of bullshit.
So you're already starting to see right-wing pundits are already abandoning Trump on this. The Trump regime has expanded Palantir's work across the federal government in recent months. The company has received more than $113 million in federal government spending since Mr. Trump took office, according to public records, including additional funds from existing contracts as well as new contracts with the Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon. This does not include a $795 million contract that the Department of Defense awarded the company last week, which has not been spent. And quick chatter said, go debate older millennial, Chris, if you got beef. I did debate older millennial live, and he ran away like a little bitch, tucked his tail between his legs, and fled the fucking live stream, all because I got him on record saying that he would support legislation that forces women to give birth. That video is posted on my Instagram if you'd like to see it. Representatives of Palantir are also speaking to at least two other agencies, the Social Security Administration and the Internal Revenue Service, about buying its technology, according to 6 government officials and Palantir employees with knowledge of the discussions. The push has put a key Palantir product called Foundry into at least 4 federal agencies, including DHS and the Health and Human Services Department. Widely adopting Foundry, which organizes and analyzes data, paves the way for Mr. Trump to easily merge information from different agencies, the government officials say. Creating detailed portraits of Americans based on government data is not just a pipe dream. The Trump administration has already sought access to hundreds of data points on citizens and others through government databases, including their bank account numbers, the amount of their student debt, their medical claims, and any disability status. Mr. Trump could potentially use such information to advance his political agenda by policing immigrants and punishing critics, Democratic lawmakers and critics have said. Privacy advocates, student unions, and labor rights organizations have filed lawsuits to block data access. Questioning whether the government could weaponize people's personal information. Palantir's selection as chief vendor for the project was driven by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Oh, that's coincidental. The South African billionaire raised under apartheid, he's also a supporter of the South African billionaire raised under apartheid? It's almost like they are buddies. At least 3 Doge members formerly worked at Palantir, while 2 others had worked at companies funded by Peter Thiel, an investor and founder of Palantir. And again, we talk about this all the time. Peter Thiel is not just an investor and founder of Palantir. Peter Thiel is a technocrat. Okay, he is a believer of the neo-reactionary movement, one of the Curtis Yarvin followers. Peter Thiel genuinely wants to replace democracy with tech feudalism, where different CEO billionaires control different sections of the United States, and everybody within those sections work for that one company, much like Hunger Games is different districts. Now, this is not conspiracy. This is written about. This is proudly talked about by Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, J.D. Vance, Curtis Yarvin. They all say that they don't like democracy. They think democracy has failed, and they want to replace it with this form of monarchism where there's a COO at the top, you know. Very, very scary stuff. Some current and former Palantir employees have been unnerved by the work. The company risks becoming the face of Mr. Trump's political agenda, 4 employees said, and could be vulnerable if data on Americans is breached or hacked. Several tried to distance the company from the efforts, saying any decisions about a merged database of personal information rest with Mr. Trump and not the firm. Trevor Mason just became a loyalist. W. Trevor, thank you very much. Appreciate that. This month, 13 former employees signed a letter urging Palantir to stop its endeavors with Mr. Trump. Linda Jaya, a signee who was a Palantir engineer until last year, said the problem was not with the company's technology, but with how the Trump regime intended to use it. Data that is collected for one reason should not be repurposed for other uses, Ms. Jia said. Combining all that data, even with the noblest of intentions, significantly increases the risk of misuse. Well, that's exactly what they want. The Trump regime wants, to be able to just type in your name, Chris Valenti, and have a comprehensive list of everything you've ever posted, whether you are a far-left radical Marxist or a far-right authoritarian Nazi. They want to see every post you've ever made. They want to know your blood type. They want to know what disabilities you have. They want to be able to quickly and efficiently find, target, and ruin you. That is the entire point of this system. It is to root out dissidents of the Fuhrer. It is to find those like me who have political presence and an ability to somewhat sway the public into understanding that Donald Trump is a fascist. So the whole point of this is to destroy the First Amendment in the United States of America. This is George Orwell's 1984, and MAGA will cheer and celebrate. Even to the point where, like we talked about, we showed you older millennial. They're not going to choose older millennial over Donald Trump. Chatter just said, Chris, we got to deport you. There's your example right there. And this is a dedicated hate watcher. He's here all the time. This guy is a fucking crush on me. Do me a favor, cradle my nuts and suck my dick. But we've gotten to the point where actual Americans are advocating to round up and deport their political enemies because they're fascists. These are fascists. These are unironically fascists. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we've got this too. Trump flipped on us. MAGA reacts to potential national citizen database. Supporters of President Donald Trump express anger and disbelief online following reports that his administration has advanced plans to create a national citizen database with the technology firm Palantir. Newsweek reached out to Palantir for comment. The White House has contracted Palantir, Colorado-based analytics company, co-founded by Trump supporter Peter Thiel, to assist in compiling database. Now, but I want to see the reaction. So, numerous pro-Trump voices expressed dismay and feelings of betrayal across social media platforms like X. Quote, people are so quick to suggest that I flipped on Trump. No, I didn't flip on Trump. Trump flipped on us. I'm just not willing to continue living in a lie, and I will tell you the unfortunate truth about it. The Patriot Voice wrote on X to his 158,000 followers. The thing is, these right-wing MAGA chuds are about to realize that when you create an entire audience around being in a cult, and the cult leader is Donald Trump, you don't get to just say, I don't like this one thing that he did. They're going to choose him over you, you stupid fuck. You built an entire platform around a cult. And now you think you can abandon the cult and keep your clout? You dumb fucks. How fucking stupid are you? The Hodge twins, popular conservatives and Trump supporters, have more than 3.3 million followers on X, wrote, quote, hope this ain't true, y'all. Well, here's the thing. It is true, and even though it is true, you're still going to support him because you're in a fucking cult. Another post on the same day reads, quote, don't know if this is true, but I did not vote for this. Yes, you did. You voted for King Trump. You voted to get rid of your rights. That's what you voted for, and I don't pity you. Nick Fuentes, a Nazi Trump supporter described as a, quote, America First white nationalist, called the association between the Trump regime and Palantir, quote, the ultimate betrayal of his own people. Quote, feeding every MAGA extremist into an AI database controlled by a CIA Mossad cutout, Fuentes said on X, where he has roughly 500,000 followers. Seriously, if Palantir isn't the deep state, then what is? Fuentes also said they are tracking everybody that criticized Israel, everybody that interacts with somebody that's criticizing Israel, and whether you're on a visa or not, whether you're a citizen or not, whether you're brown or not, Christian or Muslim, they're putting you in the Palantir database. They're putting you on the enemies list. If you don't see a problem with that, quote, I'm beginning to think it started when DJT walked down that escalator before 2016, wrote an X user with the moniker Redneck Common Sense. Was MAGA a giant psyop? Is Trump the same man he was in 2016, or did I not just see it? The cope is unreal. I voted for Trump, but this is just unacceptable. And that's exactly what it is. It's copium. You've got fucking fat incel groiper losers like 20 North in my chat who will unironically defend every decision Donald Trump makes until their dying day. Even though the main political pundits on the right are jumping ship left and right saying, this is bad, this is not good, this is not conservative, you cannot support this. They're in a cult. They're gonna. Always and forever, because any and all people who still support Donald Trump are inferior to you. They are less than you. They deserve to be treated less than you. Bully these people. If you know anybody who is a Trump supporter, bully them. And I mean this. Bully them. Hurt their feelings. Bully Donald Trump. If you have any sort of content creation machine, any sort of platform, every day you need to bully Donald Trump and bully his Nazi followers. Anyway, I'm Chris Valenti. This is the Valenti Vod. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you do want to support the channel financially, become a patron on Patreon, become a member on YouTube. A huge shout out to the members and the patrons. We are at 66,000 subs here on YouTube. We're trying to hit 100,000, so don't forget to hit that sub bell. And also click that video right over there. I promise you, it's a banger.